So this is the story of the seasmoiditis, and in this case what you can see is that there is medial seasmoid here. It's slightly sclerotic and there is a small fragment in the lateral aspect of the medial seasmoid. Normal appearances of the lateral seasmoid, and then patient had an MRI examination performed approximately 2 months earlier, and at that time patient was noted to have intense diffuse edema in the medial seasmoid, and that's the fragment next to it. And then we will also look at the T1 imaging. So that was the T1 imaging at that time, and then T1 imaging you can see that there are all these corresponding changes where there is intense edema in the medial seasmoid. And now at this point of time, patient has a CT scan examination, which is now 2 months after the MR. And then what we can see here is that this is the medial seasmoid and this is the adjoining fragment. There is a bit of sclerosis change in the medial seasmoid, some lucency, but no further fragmentation, no fracture line or anything. So overall, this is extensive case of medial seasmoiditis, and there is small fragmentation in the lateral aspect. And then we will also look at what we saw at the last examination. So let's look at the axial sequence now. So on the axial sequence now, this was 2 months back. There is intense edema diffusely in the medial seasmoid. There is some fragmentation there. This is the flexor tendon, that's intact. And then let's look at the sagittal sequence to see what we can see. This is the sagittal T2 sequence. So looking at the sagittal T2 sequence, we can see intense edema in the medial seasmoid. And then when we look here, there is some signal change in the plantar plate, but nothing too bad. And the other seasmoid is good, and then there is some edema there. But overall, there is not much of osteochondral damage, there is not much of joint effusion, and predominantly findings are of marked medial seasmoiditis.